What's going on, good people? Rich here.
It's your girl Ray P back in the building. Welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden podcast. What's going on, Rich?
Slow motion this way. What's going on with you, Ray?
Not a thing. Enjoying my time at home.
Absolutely. Same. Enjoying my time at home. I was just talking shit last week, up in the new spot, recorded the first episode in the new spot last week, and I came home to Cincinnati this past weekend for Mother's Day, and I still ain't left. But I'll leave tomorrow. I'm gonna be back.
That's it. That's how it be.
Yeah, and I promise this because, well, not just because, but I still have my apartment in Cincinnati.
Oh.
Like I still have until the 30th. So I was just like, man, I got somewhere to lay my head and all that stuff if I need to.
Sure.
I kept all furniture in the new spot is new. I'm not trying to stuff. I'm just saying it's all new. So all my old stuff is still at the old spot. I got to get that stuff up out of there. But long story short, I'm in the Natty. You see me in Mama Goody Studios, so we back at it. But yeah, we here for another episode 91.
Crazy.
Episode 91. Shout out to you, Rachel, man. We appreciate everybody out there for tuning in, for listening. Thank you for your continued support. We were just talking before we started recording. We were just talking about how, a lot of y'all rock with us, and we appreciate it.
Crazy.
Really, yeah. Because we don't do it for that. We just do it out of, sheer love of the game, as they say. But the fact that y'all do and you're vocal about it, you let it be known, it really keeps us going, especially in those low moments when it's just like, all right, some stuff might just start feeling redundant or starts feeling like a little bit more of a task because we have other things going on. So your words and your encouragement and your cheering from the sidelines, however you want to say it, we appreciate it. That's why we call y'all Culture Garden family.
For sure. Absolutely. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely, man.
They like me. They really like me.
Hey, shout out to Life.
Yeah. Shout out to Life.
The cereal, not the movie. Shout out to the movie too.
All of the above.
All of the above, man. But yeah, we back. We're here for another episode of Culture Garden. But before we get into
it,
the most important thing for me right now, I don't know about y'all. I'm super excited about this. We got y'all's back.
I told y'all niggas. I told y'all. Clearly, I'm in a silly mood today, but I told y'all that we got y'all. Will be back. Y'all got 2 episodes in a week.
Straight up.
I feel like I'm done. No.
2 episodes in a week. We had the catching up with Ray P. It's kind of like just me talking to Ray P about television in general. Her process. We got y'all small story of how it even came about, what it was originally supposed to be and what it is now, what we had planned, and what we might plan on doing in the moments when we don't have shows. So we discussed all of that, and then we hit y'all right back with the Shy. Season 6, part 2, started last Friday, May 10th. We recorded an episode 9, since it's the second part of the season. The Aftermath, it is up right now. The information is in our episode. Yeah. It's streaming on Paramount Plus, formerly Showtime, or you got to get Paramount Plus with Showtime. These streaming wars are nuts. Comcast just announced something.
Yeah.
They got this Netflix, Apple TV bundle. Looks kind of interesting, but either way, check the link tree in the description. You will find the information for We Got Y'all. There's an Instagram page so you can get all the updates. We will post it in the story of the Culture Garden, but as far as the actual post on the page, that is all for We Got Y'all. So please be sure to follow. Please be sure. Like, subscribe, rate, share.
All of that.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from y'all. We'll start reading it. One day, what I would really like to do, with your cooperation, everyone, I would like to have like a mailbag episode.
Oh, for sure.
We'd love for y'all to just send some questions in, as random as they can be, and just have an episode where we just chop it up with y'all. And just, well, not with y'all, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There is a We Got Y'all email.
Same for Culture Garden. There's a Culture Garden email. We don't talk about it a lot, but once again, it is in the episode description. So if you have anything you want to share, by all means, reach out to us. Today's episode, there will be spoilers and explicit content.
Yes.
As I say always, film came out in 2001, so much for the spoilers. But we are talking about The Brothers.
Yes.
Nostalgia at its finest. The Brothers. I cannot wait. Synopsis of the film. 4 friends begin to question women and relationships when one of them announces impending nuptials. Ray P.
Yes.
This was your week to choose. What made you go with The Brothers?
Honestly, I was late picking my movie. I too went home for Mother's Day. And so I was searching Max and I was like, you know what? The Brothers is right here. Easy button. Here it is. I hadn't watched it in a little while. But I know that I love this movie. So I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. It's something quick, something we both have seen, and I'm assuming both enjoy. So it was a really easy decision.
I love those moments when it's just it just comes up. Oh, okay, that's the movie.
Yeah.
I had one for that reason. It was another Morris Chestnut movie that I watched maybe a couple months ago. And then I went to go, I was going to pick it, I think last week or the week before, and it's not on streaming anymore. You got to rent it. So I was like, let me check. What's that?
What?
2 can play that game.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, okay. 2 can play that game. Yeah. Man, I fuck with that movie. We'll talk about it as soon as it's back up on the streaming site because we try to make sure that it's on a regular streaming site that you're already paying a monthly subscription for. We try, in rare instances, we veer off from that, but we don't want to spend $3.99 or whatever to watch it and hear us talk about it. So here we are with The Brothers. Great choice, Rachel. I'm excited. I've talked about this before. If you mix in strong cast, friendship, love, commitment, trust, family, the whole aspect, you really got me in. So here we are. As far as the stats go, the film just turned 23 years old. It came out March 23rd, 2001.
Damn.
Directed and written by Gary Hardwick. His directorial debut let me take that back. I guess technically it's his feature film debut. He's directed things before, but this was his first feature film. He actually played in the movie. He had a guest role as T-Bone, T-Boy, one of the dude outside of Brian's house.
Yeah.
Trying to set up the insurance scam. That's the director cameo. But he started, I love when directors have the cameo. One of my favorites in The Wood. But the movie The Wood has one of my favorite director cameos, and we'll talk about it whenever we get to that. Get to that film. But yeah, he has a writing career. Starts back to Thea. Shout out to Thea.
Shout out to Thea. To the Capitol. See ya.
He wrote for Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Okay. Hanging with my man, he's oh so fine.
Yeah, Hanging with Mr. Cooper doesn't get enough credit.
It does not. Classic.
It really doesn't. Classic. And South Central. South Central only had 1 season. Lorenz Tate was in it.
Yes.
I think we mentioned it before, but he wrote for that also. He also wrote Trippin'.
Okay.
And he wrote The Perfect Match.
Interesting.
Okay. The Perfect Match. And the other film that you would know him for as far as his from him directing was Deliverance from Eva. Obviously, he grew a rapport with Gabrielle Union and made that film a couple years after this. I think that came out in 2003.
I think so.
That's pretty much the highlights of his career. He's done it all. He's been a stand-up comedian, all types of stuff. But shout out to Gary Hardwick. A budget of an approximately $6 million, grossed $27.9 million worldwide.
Period.
10.3 million opening weekend. Love when Black movies get that money back the opening weekend.
Me too.
Everything else is just, gravy on top. Opened at number 2 in the box office, right behind Heartbreakers, which I did not remember that film. I had to look it up and see who was in it. I think Jennifer Love Hewitt, Gene Hackman, someone else, but I did not remember Heartbreakers at all. But it opened up at number 2, and it was 1 spot ahead of Exit Wounds. Last week, we just talked about DMX.
Shout out to Earl. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the dog. Rest in peace to the dog. It was in theaters for 11 weeks. I also want to highlight that out. And it is currently streaming on Max, as Rachel mentioned earlier. Some awards, 8 nominations and 1 win. Nominated for an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Motion Picture. Our good old friends at the Black Reel Awards, it was nominated for 8 Black Reel Awards. It won for Best Song, the Eric Benet song that you hear constantly throughout this film. Love Don't Love Me. And Gabrielle Union, the other highlight, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Okay.
I think one of the only acting nominations that they got for this film. But she was nominated.
Okay.
As far as the cast goes, we have Morris Chestnut as Jackson Smith. D.L. Hughley is Derek West. Bill Bellamy is Brian Palmer. Shamar Moore is Terry White. Now, hold on real quick. That's the brothers. All right, that's the brothers. This is 2001. I'm putting you on the spot. So if you don't have an answer for me, that's perfectly fine because I did not give you any kind of time to prep for this. I didn't prep for it because I just thought of this at this moment.
Okay.
If you were to pick your ideal brothers lineup with the who's who of Black Hollywood in 2001, would it still look like this or would you have gone a different route?
Ooh. 2001.
So I know we have Omar Epps around there. We have Mekhi Phifer out there. We have Jamie Foxx out there. Taye Diggs is out there.
I instantly thought of Taye Diggs. Oh, okay. I'm keeping Morris.
Got to keep Morris.
I am giving. Damn, I love Bill Bellamy, and he's coming off of How to Be a Player.
This was his stretch. This might be the most, unless you count those MTV DJ video jockey days. This might be his most famous stretch.
I think so. I like that for him, but I might replace him with Jamie.
We on the same page, Rachel. That's exactly. I love Bill Bellamy. I think I might have liked him a little bit more in Love Jones.
Yes.
But we all know a character like Brian, so I'm not mad at his character in this movie. But for some reason, I see Jamie doing that role better, or maybe Jamie could be Derek.
Maybe. If I'm just looking aesthetics wise, I might go Mel Jackson instead of Shamar Moore.
Oh snap! I like that.
I know who would replace DL.
You know who would replace DL? Not DL. You know who would replace Brian for me, Bill Bellamy's character?
Who?
I'm giving that to Mekhi Phifer.
Ooh, I like Mekhi. I like Mekhi in that role.
Yeah, this is right before Paid in Full. So he doesn't have that stigma of being Mitch yet.
Yeah.
He's done Soul Food. He's done a couple other things.
Oh.
Shaft. I think he did. Yeah, he did Shaft. His few moments in that movie.
I might give. Damn. I don't know. Because DL is older.
Yeah, he's the oldest in real life. He was 38 at the time of filming.
Yeah. So I may give. I don't know. I do want to replace DL. He did well in the film, but I think if I could give somebody else that role, it would.
I don't know who it would be.
Marlon Wayans.
I like it. I like it. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I like it.
Yeah.
That works.
And he was young, so if I don't do Marlon, I might go Damon or even Sean.
But here's the thing. So as soon as you said Marlon, for some reason my brain switched to Sean.
Yeah.
Marlon's the answer. I think we thought of him first because we've seen Marlon do other things outside of the Wayans family umbrella.
Yes.
I don't think now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how many things I've seen Sean in outside of something that his brothers are a part of. I don't know if I've ever just seen him pop up in an ensemble film like this, like A Best Man or
I don't think
Brothers.
Nothing is coming to my mind. I'll say that.
Yeah, because Damon was the same way. Damon did his own. He didn't show up if you remember our Wayans brother episode. So we had a Wayans brother episode back in 2021. You can find it in our archives. But we talked about Scary Movie, directed by Keenan. The joke at the end of it was that Damon was going to be the killer. And the reason was because they never put him in any of the Wayans movies.
Yeah.
And he was going to be a killer and all that. But I like that. I like Marlon playing the DL role. He's playing Derek. Because even though DL is 38 in real life, they're all supposed to be 29.
29.
They grew up together.
Weird.
Yeah, which is weird. Yeah. So I like that. I like that. All right, that was cool for on the spot. No names written down, just did that off memory. If you have a good recasting of the brothers, please write us, let us know. Send us a message.
Let us know. Let us know what that looks like for you.
I might think about this deeper once we end, like actually look at some Black Hollywood and see what's what. Because I guess Blair Underwood would be too old at this point, right? He can play a 29-year-old, but I think he might just be a tad bit aged out.
Well, he could very much be Derek's character. I wouldn't make him anybody else, probably but Derek, because even though Jackson is a doctor, I'm not quite sure what Terry does, and we know that Brian is a lawyer.
Terry is an executive. That's what we know. What kind of executive? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you could throw Blair in there. You could throw Blair's head in that conversation. He coming off a Set It Off and Asunder and some other things.
Yeah, there's only one issue with that. He can't play Derek, and we'll talk about it in the movie when we get into the film, should I say? But yeah, I like those. I like all of those.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. Maybe only other person. We'll move on from this. I promise. We'll get to the rest of the cast. The only other curveball that I'll throw you in 2001 that could play Derek, which is DL's character, Don Cheadle.
I don't like it.
You don't like it because it feels too much like DL. Because DL to me, all right. So ever since this film came out, once again, I want to start by saying this. I like DL in this movie.
Yes,
I think he did a great job.
Yes,
but even 14-year-old me felt like he didn't fit with the rest of them.
Correct.
Yeah, we've had discussions. Maybe I think our Best Man episode, we had a discussion about does merch fit with this group, and you made a great point, Rachel, of saying every group has somebody like merch.
Yeah,
every group does. So it makes sense for the brothers to have Derek, especially when you find out they grew up together and all that. But I don't know, it's always stood out. Even when you look at the poster, it's like, all right.
Yeah, he's different than Merch because Merch is just corny.
Yeah.
I think it's DL did well, but to me, he was always DL and not random Derek from this movie. I always saw DL Hughley, you know?
That's a perfect way of saying it. I feel the exact same way. All right, cool. I like little random pop quizzes like that.
For sure.
Rounding out the cast, we have Gabrielle Union as Denise Johnson. If you remember 2001, her Bring It On might have been what she was known for to the average person. Maybe not in the culture, but just, hey, I don't know if anybody remembers this. And I don't know if this is an Ohio thing or what. But in the malls, okay, so back when you would go to the mall, Gabrielle Union's picture used to be in this like jewelry store. She was a model for one of the jewelry stores. And like you could tell it was before she was acting.
Uh-huh.
And then like they kept it. I don't know. For me, it was always funny because I would walk. I can't remember which jewelry store it was. You could probably Google it. Just Google Gabrielle Union jewelry photos.
Not clear.
Yeah, I wasn't clear. It's like
Claire's and icing. What's going on?
I ain't gonna do it like that. But I don't know. That was just random. But my whole point was she was more known for Bring It On, and she hadn't really, I guess, dug her teeth into anything serious in Hollywood until this film. Kamala Jones as Sheila West, Tatiana Ali as Cherie Smith, the incredible, the queen, the legend, the icon Jennifer Lewis as Louise Smith, Clifton Powell as Fred Smith, another Culture Garden favorite. One of the reasons we started this podcast. Vanessa Bell Calloway as Dr. Thelma Woolrich, which this might be our 5th Vanessa Bell Calloway appearance on the Culture Garden, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to her. And then we have the incredible, incomparable, legendary, give her all the flowers, give her all the awards, Marla Gibbs with an appearance as Mary West, Derek's mom. Ray P.
Yes.
I think I know the answer.
Okay.
Classic or not?
culturally relevant and significant, not a classic.
Okay. So let's do this. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I like the movie a lot more than the quality of the movie.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
For sure.
You can't tell me that it's not a classic because I grew up with this. This is a coming of age movie for me. I was 14. I've watched it countless times.
For sure.
I still watch it. It's in rotation. It's a once every 2 years, no more than 30 months I go without watching this.
Okay.
Just one of those movies for me. Something changed for me doing this rewatch. And I was talking to you yesterday before we recorded We Got Y'all. And I told you I was going to bring this up. So this is why this film is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I just mentioned we were 14 when it came out.
8th grade.
Yes, 8th grade. Yep, we hadn't even started. We were wrapping up our middle school lives.
Yeah.
Getting ready for that summer break before we started high school. At 14, 29, which Jackson is, he's worried about turning 29 because it's 1 year away from the big 3-0. That's so far away when you're 14. And you have so much time to imagine and plan and think about what your life is going to look like when you get to that point.
Yeah.
So when you're watching it at 14, 15, 16, 20, 21, it hits a little bit different because you're still not at that age. You're still not at that place. At 37 years old, it's comical to look at Jackson worry about turning 29. Like, nigga, get out of here. Shut up. It's going to be okay. Because now I'm not significantly, let me not hype it, but I'm almost a decade past the age that he was turning.
Yes.
And it makes me want to go like, bro, just chill out. Do what you got to do. Don't even worry about it because you got plenty of life to live. You good. So when you look at it from those two different angles, some of the issues and some of the things that he was talking about was comical. However, very true.
Yeah.
I think there is something about turning 30 or turning close to 30 and you that button in your head saying, or that thought in your head saying, all right, I need to get my shit together.
For sure. Well, 30 is that, I don't even want to say dreaded age, but it is that age where everyone has in their mind, like, my life should be together by 30. Like 30 is old. That is the first start of, these old niggas, 30. I remember being 20 something, and I, for the most part, have always kind of hung out with people a little older. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, like, ooh, these motherfuckers 30 something, they still talking about what we talking about. They still on the same shit. And now at 37, now at 37, I'm not that far removed from some of that same shit. And may too still be participating in some of those same activities and foolishness. So, keep living. Perspective is everything. I am curious though. To your point, we were 14 when this came out, but to the people, the audience, the $30 million worth of Black people who saw this film in 2001, go to the movies for $7. I wonder those who were at that age between 29 and 30, 35, what their take was. Did they feel how we feel, or did they just look at it as a regular early 2000s movie? Like, whatever. It just is what it is.
That's a really good question. I would imagine that they looked at it and maybe had a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
After the movie. There are some things that even now at 37, Jackson is somebody who I don't say this, probably is not the word, but I don't know. Begrudgingly, I'll say I relate to Jackson.
Okay.
Even down to some of the quotes and lines that he has in this film about not just love itself, but just his perception and how he views things.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about it, but I'm trying to think of a current movie, maybe Really Love.
I love it.
I don't know if that counts because I'm not an artist and I'm not on that.
These men are together, career-wise.
Yeah, that's the big key with this. That's a big key with this, and I think that's one of the things that's different today. I know a lot of people still are trying to figure out careers, what they want to do, how to really make money, because we're no longer. You gotta have multiple streams of income.
Right.
So it's not as easy now. With these characters, it's different because lawyers, doctors, the whole nine, pretty much set. I love that about the film. That we're not just getting regular schmegler black men. These are successful, and that's something they could have dug into more in the film, like what it looks like to be, as they say, the cream of the crop. To bring it to Per Bryant, to bring it to Insecure, to be men of the league.
Yeah.
These prestigious men who I have everything together, my credits together, I own a home, have a great career, no kids, no drama. I should be able to do what I want, get what I want, all of that kind of stuff. That is a mindset that is had.
For sure.
And I think there's a version of this film that looks into it a little bit deeper. I think part of the reason, if I were to hear someone make complaints about the film, I think they would probably say that it's a little bit disjointed. It's trying to do too much in too short of a time.
Yeah.
I appreciate them including everyone in the story, all four of them, like especially at the beginning when you have scenes of all of them at work. So how we introduce everybody. I'm not going to step on the scenes there, but we'll talk about that. Even in the bed, like there's a scene where Brian's in the bed with Julie, the white girl, and there we go to Derek's character in bed with his wife, and then we go to Jackson and Denise in the bed, and they're having a conversation after they have sex for the first time. So all of these are shot back to back to back and in sequence, and it kind of loses focus of what this story is really about, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's definitely early 2000s feel, and I'm not going to complain about it because that's how movies were made, and I still love this film.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the origin. I mean, there's not really anything to say about it, so instead, I'll just talk about just what we're looking at. So obviously, 4 childhood friends, as I mentioned before. Jackson has commitment issues, also daddy issues.
Just like a nigga.
Just like a nigga. Brian's done with the sisters. Obviously, that was a mama issues. This is in the time when the interracial, the dating a white girl thing was really coming to a head.
Yeah.
Not saying it hadn't been discussed. Obviously, there's a whole movie that Spike made, Jungle Fever. But in the new age, the turn of the millennium, that whole there's no stigma no more. I'm gonna date these white women. That's when I feel like it started to make a turn right around this time. So it made sense for that to be a talking point in the film. Derek's household, I don't know, man.
You consider that was not the film. Think about life. All these new athletes born in the early 2000s.
Facts. Yeah, man. Rachel, America is truly a melting pot.
It's something.
Yeah, you got Derek and his household. Derek's the only married one. They serve breakfast at his house.
They married when they got somebody pregnant.
Listen, if it ain't spot on, I don't know what it is. They serve breakfast at Derek's house. They serve lunch at Derek's house. But guess what? There are no neck dinners being served.
No neck dinners
at his household, which is wild.
Which also is early 2000s conversation.
Very much so.
When it was, I don't want to say popularized, but when it was more, I guess, publicized, public conversation about Black women specifically not giving head.
There's rap song, Give Me That Becky. That was a term because it was widely known. I know in my high school days, maybe even early college, the stigma was Black women ain't doing it. So that was a real conversation. And I don't know where y'all live. We ain't gonna go there. We ain't gonna go there. But I'm just saying. I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. But I also grew up in the era. We grew up in the era where men were ashamed to say that they performed cunnilingus.
For sure. For sure.
Like a real red flag, like you were looked down upon, and now, come on now, serve it up. You fork, plate, spoon, all of that.
Oh.
You look crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
You know what I'm saying? Now niggas eating ass. So society has come a long way.
Yeah.
And when I say come, I use that intentionally. And Terry's out here proposing to women that he ain't ready for. He's the
2 months.
It's hard to say he's a player. Like 2 months is wild. That's one of them Risa Tisa COVID relationships. It's cool to like even have a girlfriend in 2 months, but to say I want to marry you,
I was gonna.
And we know that ain't you.
I was gonna ask you, do you think that could ever be you? I'm not likening you to Terry in any capacity, howsoever. But if you meet this woman and essentially she checks all the boxes, she is just everything that you've always wanted in a woman. And within 60 days, you like, hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You propose it?
In theory, it sounds like a great idea, right? In theory. My reservation would be, have I seen you angry? Have I seen you upset? Have I seen you around maybe different people? Like there's certain things I just want to witness before I make that decision. Because marriage is the ultimate, like ain't no getting, well, I'm not gonna say ain't no getting out of it, but the legal process is just way too much work. So you want to be sure.
The ultimate.
A very ultimate commitment. I think there's something to be said about not knowing how your partner reacts when they're seething mad.
For sure.
Not knowing if you can have a conversation about certain things or how to communicate. All right. Are you one of those, hey, I'm upset right now, I don't want to talk about this, let's do it tomorrow? Or are you one of those, I don't give a fuck if you're mad, I don't give a fuck if you're in the mood, we getting this out tonight? There's just so many layers that go into that.
For sure.
And that can be tricky.
For sure. I'll just tell y'all, I am somebody, I cannot react to you when I'm steaming mad. You have to give me a second because I will say or do something that I cannot come back from. So I've learned that about myself. It may or may not drive people crazy that once I know that I'm like on 17, I have to disengage from you completely. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to be on the news. So,
but the fact that that's communicated, though, that's something that should be communicated and is known. There's people, I've learned this from experience, there are people who don't respect it.
For sure.
Oh, you ain't that mad. We can still like when a woman tell you she mad, like listen to her. Listen. When she says, I think there was a movie we talked about. I can't remember what it was. When one of the women said, "I do not want to talk about this right now. Trust me, if we talk about this right now, it's gonna be a problem. Let's just dead this shit. Talk about it tomorrow." And whoever the dude was kept going, and it ended up blowing up. And I said it as an example, like when a woman says, or a man, however you want to put it. Says, I do not want to talk about this right now, because that's different than shutting down and saying, I don't want to talk. Right now, it's not the moment to have this conversation, because I'm, like you said, I'm on 17.
Yeah.
Like, I promise. Everybody you love is going to be the worst type of something by the time I finish my rant. and I'm trying to avoid that.
That's it. I love your mama too much for you to let me take it there. So just stop it.
Yeah, I'll take it there for sure. For sure.
Sure.
It's interesting because I want to see if you agree with this. So just from countless times watching this film, Terry and Jackson, you would say they are the best friends, right?
Correct.
Okay. I thought that as well. I think Terry and Jackson, and if you've been a part of Culture Garden for a while, we've had these conversations about friend groups and who are the two strong units and who fills in, the blanks. And I know we did it with Rachel wasn't on this episode, but we did it with Love Jones when we talked about Darius and Savon, and then everybody else kind of fills in. That's the same here. I feel that Terry and Jackson have the real strong relationship. Like they're the ones that probably talk the most one-on-one, even though it is still a group collective. And then you have Derek and Brian filling it out. I think that scene with even Terry coming over, the first person he goes to is Brian's. When everything ends with BB. He's riding the car going to to Jackson's.
Yeah.
He's riding in the car with Jackson going to BB's, and they just have a different type of rapport. And that just felt real. So, all right, I just wanted to see if you agreed with that because I was noticing it when I watched.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They have the real relationship. That's why you're who I tell the news to. You're who I break everything to first. I don't necessarily even want to tell these niggas, but for friendship circle's sake, I know that I have to. But yeah,
Brian you're absolutely right. And Brian could be in that, but Brian can't get out of his own way. I think we all know with Brian, where it's just, I fuck with you.
Yeah.
Man, you be doing too much sometimes.
For sure. For sure.
Like, and that means nothing. I love you more than anything. I have you around my family. Anything. You need anything, I got you. But man, you need to grow up.
Yeah.
But we all have that, so I get it. First experience. Rachel, do you remember the first time watching this?
Yeah, so like we said, 8th grade, I did go to the theater to Secor movie theater. And saw this.
Hold on, Secor, that's the one right by the highway. It was the white building, right? By the hotel?
Yep, by the hotel.
Across from the big boy?
Yep.
Yo, that was open. That was open maybe a semester when I got to Toledo, and then they shut that joint down.
Yep. It's not.
You just blew me with that.
No, it's a Texas Roadhouse or something, or maybe it's Popeyes. It's something in that little area. Yeah.
Yo, you just blew me with that. I forgot all about that movie theater.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I have no idea when I saw this movie for the first time. I have no recollection of seeing it in the theater. And I don't think that's an age thing because I remember, like I mentioned, Love and Basketball. I definitely remember being in the theater. There were a lot of movies that came around this time that I remember going to. I've just seen The Brothers so many times. I don't recall when the first time I saw it. It was probably on 85. Just caught it on one of the movie channels and was hooked from there. Obviously, this is the whole renaissance of the black Hollywood and just trying to get away from being labeled as black movies. They were clearly black movies, but they were talking about things that weren't hood. Like I mentioned, everybody's successful, everybody has careers. We're talking about love and family is just from a black perspective. So I'd imagine it was just at the crib, but I watched it over and over again as a youngin'. A lot of people will make the comparison and say this is the male version of Waiting to Exhale. What do you think about that?
I disagree with that. And I don't know if it was just a Toledo thing and the internet was around, but it wasn't obviously today's internet. But I could have sworn there were grumblings and rumors of them making The Sisters a female alternative to this. Like they did Beauty Shop with Barbershop and all of that. I promise you that was the rumor that they would make a female or a woman, a female response, to this movie. I love Waiting to Exhale. And while I can kind of see how they got there, I don't think that this is the male version of that in any capacity.
I'm the same way. Every time I see it, I just think it's lazy.
Just faux niggas.
Yeah, I think if you see faux niggas and you compare it because of the subject matter, I just think that's lazy. They're not the same film at all. Maybe a couple comparisons, but not even like storyline or character-wise. It's just small, random stuff. Just how the movies are shot and everything like that. But I never saw it. I know a lot of people say it. I disagree. If you think differently, by all means, please let us know. I'd love to hear some thoughts. But that's one of the things that in the reviews, especially when it came out, the male Waiting to Exhale. And I'm like, that's just not true. The Brothers 2. Did you know that a sequel was in the works?
No. What?
A script was written.
Okay.
So I found this out because I was doing research. There's not a ton of information on the Brothers as far as what was, any kind of secret stuff or kind of hidden trivia. But there was a film that came out in 2016 called The Bounce Back with Shamar Moore and Bill Bellamy. And there's Velasquez is her last name, Nina Velasquez. I don't know. Either way, I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. Either way, it was a 2016 film that was funded by crowdsourcing. Shamar Moore was an executive producer. And he was on a radio station in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And he was mentioning how he had read the script for The Brothers 2. And it's hilarious. And he was like, my character's funny. So you only imagine what Bill and DL's characters would be. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about, hopefully this film does what it's supposed to do. This film meaning The Bounce Back.
Yeah.
And maybe studios will start knocking on the door. I'm going to tell them I want to make this movie next.
Okay.
Unfortunately, The Bounce Back made like $400,000. So it didn't do as well. Yeah. And it's like, damn, when I saw that on some real shit, I'm not trying to be funny. I was like, damn, I wish I remembered this because I would have went to the theater to kind of really support. I tried to, there's been movies where I don't even go. I'll just buy a ticket though, just off GP. Like Little Mermaid was one. Like I had no interest, but I wanted to, shout out to Halle.
Yeah.
Just wanted to go ahead and support her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know. Either way, would you have been here for a Brothers 2 sequel 15 years later?
So on the front end, I want to say no, because why? But that makes me a hypocrite because I was in the theaters for The Best Man Holiday.
Rarefied air. That's one of the rare films that took that big of a break and still had a great film.
Yeah. So I don't know. I probably just for Black film's sake would have gone to see it, but maybe begrudgingly depending on how the trailer came out.
You know what I just thought of when you said that?
What?
I'm finding out that you niggas don't like Bad Boys. Because Bad Boys 4 is coming out next month and people are not here for it. I'm going to be there opening night. Just to be clear.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. Niggas love Bad Boys. I think that maybe Bad Boys 3 didn't do, dare I say, culturally what people were looking for it to do. So I think that there's a bit of trepidation going into Bad Boys 4.
Yeah, it's a different
thing. It could lean cheesy. And that's what we don't want.
I think that's what people are afraid of.
Yeah.
A couple of people that I've talked to about it were like, I'm probably not going to see it. I'm like, what? I remember being in Phoenix when Bad Boys for Life came out in the theater. That joint was packed. I was actually talking to my mom about this too.
Yeah.
So they can still making these movies. I said, Mom, it's like they do numbers. If you do a franchise or a comic book movie, you good. And she was like, ain't nobody going to see that. And I said, Mom, I saw this in theaters. Like I'm telling you, wall to wall packed in that theater.
Yeah.
And she was like, was that before COVID? I'm like, it was like 2 months before COVID. She was like, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So this will be a good measuring stick to see how it does and how it fares. I'm just thinking when you have these characters, we talked also before we started recording, they're 40 years later, they're making another Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah. I think sometimes you have characters that are just embedded in the culture. And people want to see them. They just want to catch up with them and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Not saying it's always necessary. You got to know when to stop.
For sure.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
For sure.
I definitely would have been at The Brothers 2. I would have watched it.
Yeah.
I saw all the 2s. I saw Think Like a Man 2. I saw
that.
Why Did I Get Married 2?
Yeah.
Which Why Did I Get Married 2 was one of the worst sequels ever made.
The problem is that Why Did I Get Married is so good. It's the problem, and it doesn't lean into Tyler Perry stereotype as a lot. And Why Did I Get Married 2 goes so far into TP foolishness. You're like, how the hell did we get here?
Not only the TP foolishness, Rachel, I have a real grudge with Perfect Patty.
Perfect Patty messed up.
When I tell you I have a serious grudge, not with Janet Jackson. We all love Janet. But Patty in the second movie,
she was
and
ridiculous.
the fact that movie ends, listen, her husband got murked and she out here on dates with The Rock. Nigga, are you fucking serious? She don't deserve no redemption. We're not gonna get into
it. Happiness. But let's get into some scenes for the brother.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go ahead and get into scenes. Rachel, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Okay.
Know what your first scene is going to be.
For sure. Obviously, intro, we say that almost every pod, just because it lets us know who the brothers. I love that they called them the brothers throughout the movie.
I must say.
But it lets us know who the brothers in fact are and what they have going on, career wise, personality wise. And so it really does set the tone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. Not just it's the opening for all four of them. I mentioned earlier about how a lot of these scenes in the first half of the movie are shot back to back, and you're seeing everyone. So if you're introducing one brother, you're introducing all of them.
Yeah.
One brother's got some intimacy stuff going on. You're going to get into all of them. So this is the perfect intro. We find out that they're successful. Like I said, this isn't just like Smokey and Craig. Yeah, this is chilling up the street. Like we have things to do. Pediatrician, lawyers, therapy in 2001.
Crazy.
Very taboo. Very progressive. I like that. I really do. The fact that Jackson knew, and this is part of the reason why I start relating with Jackson, just from his mindset.
Yeah.
Understanding that, I about to be 29, one away from 30. We talked about that. But I have this hurdle. I meet a woman, it's the same cycle. Like I'm trying to figure out what it is that's stopping me from opening up and giving my all to a woman. I think that if you really are a lover, as Ray P's a lover girl.
I am.
But on my side of things, I think you really start questioning, all right, what's going on? Because I want to, on paper, I want to do all of these things, but for some reason, there's this hurdle that I can't get over.
Yeah.
Or there's this fear, and I get it. I understand it. It's just like, damn, man, like what's going on? We see Brian in court. We see he ain't shit ASAP. And we also see Terry getting thrown at him in the office. So it's just what's up?
No, that's it. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But not fucking that lady though.
That's what I appreciated the most, because I think if this is a stereotypical film, so we hadn't met BB yet.
Correct.
You could have went the full dog route, but they did it without showing the stuff like that. You have to give these characters some kind of moral compass. And one of the strongest things I would say as a man that you can have is that self-control.
For sure.
There's something about getting it thrown at you and having the self-control to say, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and it's not like the lady was ugly. This is an attractive woman. I'm assuming she works with and or for you. So she got a couple of dollars. She's not trash. I appreciate it. And we see later on that he says, like, no, I'm committed to BB. So it's not just a self-control thing, even though that's the biggest component of that. But howsoever, it is I care enough about this woman to not right now do anything that I know is going to hurt her.
Facts. Yeah, I love that about it. My scene, Cherie's graduation party.
Oh, you go a ways.
Go ahead. Keep rolling with me.
Okay, yeah. So my next scene is actually the first club where we meet La Muzinda, and then where we meet BB, actually, where Terry announces their engagement. Just because, again, while we've met the characters, this lets us know who they really, really, really are. We see the, dare I say, tumultuous relationship between BB and Brian, because everybody has that friend that you don't really fuck with. And I appreciate her saying, like, we don't like each other. It's cool, but don't get in my way. Like, hey, move around. We happy, this and the third.
That's I'm licensed to correct a nigga.
Correct a nigga. I say that to this day. And I ain't even took my paper to the sheriff's department. But
and took that nigga drink.
And took that nigga's drink. Like, now that you doing too much, because bitch, don't be drinking behind my fucking nigga. Are you crazy? Whatever. Sorry. Just went somewhere. But motherfuckers be too comfortable.
Yeah, I don't do that comfort shit.
Yeah,
don't
don't.
do that.
I did not do familiarity. Are you
too
fucking
much dip on your shit?
Come on, move a fuck around. Anywho, so
Speaking of,
yeah.
I'm sorry, just speaking of too comfortable.
Uh-huh.
Terry and Brian.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Did Terry handle that properly? I mean, obviously, BB handled herself. So I don't know if there was a need to step in, but there's got to be some kind of conversation like, yo, bro, like, it's my girl. Like, I just told you I'm about to marry this woman. Like, show some respect.
He kind of did, but BB said, let me handle it. Howsoever, I think that they have been letting Brian slide for too long. The fact that you even felt comfortable just kind of disrespecting in the first place. Like, you don't even, dare I say, respect me enough to be fake supportive in the moment.
How important is it for you to have the, for lack of better terms, the blessing of the crew, of the brothers?
I don't give a
If you're BB, do you care?
No, like these niggas, no way. Who cares? Fuck you. You're my nigga. Are you insane? Fuck these loser ass niggas. Wait a minute.
That was a great scene, though.
Yeah, but it was a great scene to say the least. And before we get there, but just Brian in that club, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but his frustrations with quote unquote Black women, and we meet La Muzinda and her 2 kids. Like, oh, I don't know if this might be another week in the books conversation. But
What's up? What's up? What you got?
But dare I say, dating across socioeconomic status, what that looks like. Everybody says they want the cream of the crop. Everybody wants somebody on their level, but what does it look like when all you have is this? A nigga with a whole bunch of kids, or a woman with a whole bunch of kids, and this and the third. Beautiful. But what the fuck? What are we doing? I don't know.
I just had a conversation with a close friend who was discussing how he's looking for a woman without kids. And it was one of those like, bro, like we at that point in life now where you're dipping into the double digit youngers. You're dipping into your mid 20s now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a nice little age gap. So is that something that you want to do? Ugh. I don't know. No. Like you said, another conversation for another day. Shout out to another week in the books.
Yeah.
And shout out to going to the club.
Shout out to going to the club. R.I.P.
Far removed from that life. Yeah. But when I was involved in it, what a time. What a time to leave the house at 11 o'clock.
Crazy.
Nuts to think about. I'm asleep by 11 now.
That's it.
All right, what else you got? What other scene you got next?
The courtroom was the introduction scene, so I'll include that at the top. But then my next scene is Jackson meeting Denise in the park. Just because we meet Denise, we see that he's charming. We already know he's a doctor, but we see his bedside manner off outside of the hospital or clinic, wherever he's working. And I love an intro to a love story. So we connecting. I took you home. Like, it is what it is. We're all grown. We're almost 30. So I love that. Then I go Derek and Sheila arguing about head in the bedroom. We talked about it before, but it really was taboo to say that you provided or performed fellatio. I went to white schools, so no, but I know in the Black community, like, that was a thing. Like, you suck dick is an insult.
Yeah. It's hard to think about it now, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you consider it like, nigga, this is just a part of the experience. But 2001, not so much. So Those are my starter scenes. We can get into Cherie's graduation party because that's next for me. So
that whole scenario with Derek.
Yeah.
How do you, and I guess to your point, you have to look at that conversation in the lens of 2001. It's not fair to have a 2024 conversation about that because things have obviously changed, but I just couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. Spoiler alert, wouldn't let that happen to me. Ain't no way. Like, now we're not doing that. Like, I just can't. It is, and Derek alluded to this at one point. I don't know if it was that scene or the later scene when he was not having it. He was like, I'm cool, I'm good.
That's the later one.
But it was more one of those, I love you. Like, I want to do this for you. I want to make you happy. I want to provide you pleasure.
For
like,
sure.
More so than like you feel like you're doing an act or my mom told me good girls don't do that, which sidebar. Good girls absolutely do that. Shout out to all the good girls out there. But they definitely do that 100%. And I just couldn't I couldn't imagine just being Derek and not being able to get no neck. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about it? But that's a 2024 mindset, because you think in 2001, talk to an older uncle, dare I say, who was grown in the early 2000s. He wasn't getting neck like that.
It was probably that lazy ass neck that make you not even want to be like, I'm cool. Don't worry about it.
Lazy teeth. We've said begrudgingly 10,000 times this episode, but doing this here, yes, I will marry you, Gina. Damn ass head. Like, oh God, no. Horrible.
Like, literally.
Yeah,
let's get into Cherie's graduation. I'm gonna get upset. The episode's gonna turn into Derek and all that. But Cherie's graduation party, once again, relatable to Jackson.
For sure.
Jackson had a moment where he says he doesn't understand how you can be together for 25 years and then call it quits. I remember when my parents separated when I was 16. Obviously, I wasn't a grown man like Jackson, but that verbatim was one of the things I said. I just couldn't wrap my mind around that concept of, hold on, like, how do you just wake up one day and just realize the person I've been with for all these years is I ain't gonna do it. That was odd to me.
Yeah.
And then when you combine that with his commitment issues and all that, you get into some layers, and it was just very telling to watch when you see that, because I'm like, damn, that's the same thought I had. And it's a mental hurdle that you have to get over. Obviously, therapy, all that kind of good stuff, but I just never understood it. And we'll talk. I'll circle back to this a little bit later. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Jackson talks to his mom at the house. And so we'll circle back to all of that. But I love that we obviously meet Fred.
Shout out to Christian Powell. I used to have the biggest crush on him.
Pops was sneaking and geeking. So right away, and Rachel, we're not even gonna get into it because I know.
Yes,
I know you might have. Not even that. No, not even that. I wouldn't be surprised if you found yourself in a situation where, the daddy and the son. You know what I'm saying? I've been involved with both. And what? Just saying. Rachel's lived a life. That's all I'm saying. And
woman of a particular age.
We now listen.
I have been a young thing, and I've been equal. Yeah.
I've seen random Instagram stories from Rachel with no picture, no nothing. Just a shout out to all the daddies out there. So
shout out to the daddies.
So Fred pulling up, and it made sense. And I love the fact. Shout out to the casting director.
For sure.
Fred is the type of daddy that your girl's fucking or has fucked.
Oh, for
100%.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
I love a smooth ass old nigga. Are you crazy? We talked about this just yesterday. Come on. And he got some cash. Are you fucking kidding me?
Got a dealership.
Plural.
Couple of them. I'm about to say dealerships. You know what I mean? In LA, expensive ass California.
Come on.
I can only imagine. And I love Jackson, like he said, he an old school player, so I know he hit it.
He hit it.
Ain't nothing like being around an OG, man. If you see the OG, you just know how they moved around. But that whole sequence of obviously us finding out in real time, I love that we found out right away.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't like some kind of plot twist towards the end. Mm-hmm. First time watching it, you might not notice the awkwardness. Obviously, a couple scenes later, you see them talking. Like, he does not have one picture of you in his crib.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the whole. I know your favorite line is what is it? A mission is still lying, or
mission is still betrayal. Yeah.
Yeah, a mission is a betrayal. So we'll get into it. But just introducing all of that, Fred introducing his young French girlfriend, the whole nine. You just see the family dynamic is all over the place.
Yeah.
And I like meeting all the characters. So yeah, what you got next?
It's intertwined with that, but it's Brian talking to his mom about Tyrell, just because, and not to serious us out. And I know y'all know I'm a hard old man, but we see Tyrell really advocating or trying to advocate for his brother. And we do not talk enough about damaged women further damaging their children. We talk about it with women, mother-daughter dynamics, but that mother-son relationship can be so toxic, and as to which we see his own relationship with his mother, we see how those issues show up in his relationships with women, Black women specifically. And I thought that was important, just because it's a conversation that's not had. And we talk about parents of a particular generation who are not super affectionate, but even if you have to force them, they'll put their arm around you like, oh, okay, here you go, quit crying about it. But the fact that she could not even bring herself to hug her son, this lawyer, this successful child, you did it on your own, like you got him, he got it out the mud, and you still can't bring yourself to do that. That to me speaks volumes of all of Brian's, not all, but a significant amount of his issues with women, with Black women in authority. Shout out to the judge, Carla. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's always going to be a power dynamic, and he needs to be in therapy with damn Jackson.
Nah, he really does. Another that was very well put, Rachel. Another part of that is not knowing how to even approach that conversation with your mom. Right? Like, identifying that something's off, but not knowing, how do I even bring this to your attention? How do I even, hey, mom, like, are you okay? Like, I know, like, my dad, Tyrell's dad, you didn't deserve what they did to you.
Right.
But we need to talk about healing from it. We need to talk about the next steps. I want you to know I love you. I would love to have this affection from you, all of that. And we get that some in the scene.
Yeah.
But she's so cold. She's so hardened by years and years of having this wall up. That wall is,
it's serious.
20 feet tall at this point.
For sure. And you know what? Not to, churches, but I really am prayerful about not having a hard heart. I'm a little cold-hearted, admittedly. So I just am. It is what it is. Life ain't been no crystal stair. Howsoever, more than I pray for the warmth of that, is I just pray that my heart does not become hard, because you cannot do anything with a hard heart. And Tyrell's mother has a hard heart, so much so that it is hard towards her children.
Yeah.
It's deeper than
that doesn't turn out well for anyone.
Yeah.
And it takes practice. You really have to check yourself, because I'm the same way, where it's, if it's fuck you, then that's just kind of what it is. And I'm not really even thinking about you no more. But there's also times where, like, you know what, it ain't even that deep. Like,
for sure.
And I'm one of those people, once I get it out, I'm done. Like, I'm not one of those, remember what you did 2 years ago, people. Like, nah, once we have our conversation about whatever funny shit you did, then we good. We can move on from it. It might not look the same or whatever, but I don't, to your point, Rachel, I don't want that to overtake my life and make me cold-hearted and all that kind of good stuff.
I be throwing people in the sea of forgetfulness. I don't know you.
Out of sight, out of mind. I'm a big out of sight. You'll be unfollowed, all of that. Like unchecked. Like if I don't, I'm not even thinking about you no more.
Yeah.
I don't even got the distraction to go back to your page. None of that. But sticking with Brian and Jesse at lunch.
Okay. I got Derek and his mom at the retirement home next.
I had that scene, but I only had it because I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on your spouse's parents living with you?
Whew, tricky.
Especially without your consent.
I think that's the bigger issue is the consent. Maybe not the bigger, but the fact that she and I want to call her Tamala, but she and Derek's wife, I don't know if we got her name, Sheila.
Yeah.
They don't like each other. And she says that, we don't get along. We don't like each other. So, and mother seems to be doing okay despite being in this retirement home. It would be different if she was quote unquote incapacitated and needed to come here. But the fact that you're doing this just to spite me and your mama don't get along, I take issue. How so? On the flip side of that, just in general, I don't really mind. We talk about community and it takes a village. So if your mama gotta stay here, as long as she ain't ridiculous, then I see no issue with that. My grandmother lived with us for years. So
yeah, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. Not getting along or getting along with your partner's parents. I mentioned it earlier as far as like the friend group, how important that is. That's just a whole slippery slope. That can go south.
Now, you asked me about the friend group. Let me ask you about the parents. Do parents like you? And how do you feel, or how do you navigate a relationship with someone if you're not fly with her parents?
I've never had a situation where a parent didn't like me, especially mamas. Mamas love me.
Fair.
Depending on the dad and the type of dad. If the dad is kind of like me, and when I say like me, I mean just kind of have that awareness of what goes on.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit of one of those like, so this nigga. But overall, I'm just, I've never had an issue with a parent not liking me. Friends, definitely had a couple friends not liking me. Definitely had a couple friends not fucking me. For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
And that that's weird in itself too. Like coming in the spot and the friends there, and you just, because I'm naturally a, hey, what's up? How you doing? How you feeling? Type of person, not a when they leaving type of person. Yeah. So, it gets tricky. But yeah, parents have always been a smooth ride for me. I think it is important though. I don't know, because there's that balance of I'm gonna get my respect. Like I'm not gonna let anybody disrespect me. Also, I understand these are your parents.
Yeah, for sure.
So I might bite my tongue more than I would because hey, you should handle this and have that conversation before I do.
Yeah.
Because I have no problem, because at the end of the day, you reach a certain point in life, and you're like, all right, you're my elder, but I'm also a man as well, a grown man. You know what I mean? So we can have these conversations. I'm not disrespectful, but I don't play the bullshit. And when I'm on bullshit, I will say this. When I'm on bullshit, I know it. Yeah, I'm a very self-aware person.
Yeah.
So I know when I'm like on trash and all that kind of stuff. So that's maybe part of the reason. It's hard to look at a man in his eyes and then know that you fucking over his daughter or something like that. You know what I mean? That's just rough. Like I don't want to be that type of man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great question. I know we said Brian and Jesse at lunch.
Yeah, that's on you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I just like it. It's just more repetition of what we talked about. The whole race relations, race dynamics of dating, how that looks. Being out in public at the black restaurant.
Yeah.
The black spot with the white chick. Which is cool. Like, don't get us wrong. Like, do what you do. Love what you love. I ain't tripping. If I see interracial couple, I'm not about to be like, oh, you brought this white girl in here. I think we're past that, but there is something to be said that I'm sure Brian knows that the judge frequents that establishment. I'm sure he knows, especially when you out here like that, like Brian. I remember Brian had stalkers. He played so many women he didn't even know who it was that was fucking with him.
For sure.
You know that's not going to be a good look if the right person comes. And that judge she could have avoided it, but it was a bigger issue. It wasn't Brian. She said it, like, it's women like you get the whole world handed to you, and you just got to have our men too.
Yeah.
It's tricky. That's a black woman conversation, and I don't want to even step into that arena.
2001, I had a scenario where I had a similar conversation. I was having a conversation with a black girl about a white girl that we were in class with. And she found out about said conversation and was extremely, extremely, extremely hurt.
She was hurt?
Yeah, that I said that.
I'm assuming she was dating a black man.
Yes. Yeah. I was using colorful language. It's 2001, but that, again, consider the era, that was very much something I don't even really want to say to be mindful of, but it was a topic of discussion, especially given the time. But what I was gonna say is that I felt like Brian taking Jesse to that particular restaurant was intentional. I felt like it was a fuck you. Maybe knowing that Judge Carla would be there, but not just to her, like to everybody, because he was standing 10 toes down on not fucking with black women anymore. And so, of course, I'm going to bring this white woman into this space, this black space, to rub it in your face that this black lawyer is done with y'all.
I do have a problem with that. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I do have the rubbing it in your face type of.
Yeah.
I've always just had an issue with the exclusion of races. When people say I only date.
Yeah.
This is specifically when you're dating outside of your race.
For sure.
When you say I'm only dating this race or that race, like, it's just like, all right, love who you love, be with who you want to be with, but that's just a little bit. There's something deeper there, and I always wonder what that's about. So yeah, that scene,
mommy issue.
That's real. That's real, and he knew, because I was in a similar situation, not interracially. But I remember specifically a moment in college. I might have mentioned this before on the podcast. Shout out to Nate. Nate told me, take her and leave, my nigga. Somebody just walked in, and they'll flip this whole motherfucking bar over.
Yep, it's going down.
We see y'all together. You live right over there. You live right in Campus Village. Walk your ass to the crib, take her with you, enjoy your evening. Prideful Kyron.
What
the brothers was throwing the party too. The brothers was throwing the party too. So you think I'm about to get ran at my own party? Hell no. I had a little situation come up from BG. She came to surprise me. That's the crazy thing about it, Rachel. I didn't even know she was coming. She came to surprise me. Of course, cool. Like, I got the whole plan set up. Somebody comes in. Fuck that, I ain't leaving. Person sees us. The shit hits the fan. the young lady from Bowling Green. I fuck with you. Maybe in another life.
Yeah.
But that right there.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for none of this. And broke it down to me on a deeper level, as far as, like, I came up here to, like, surprise you.
Yeah.
Fuck with you. I'm Dolo. She ain't.
Yeah.
Like, this could have turned into something else. And it was just one of those, like, damn. My whole point being, Brian knew. I knew. I staying there what the probable outcome was. And damn it, I was right.
For sure.
Not only did I know, people that were with me knew. And told me, nigga, go. Brian knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
When he brought that woman there and who we could run into and how it was going to work. Because that judge ain't had no chill either. She could have just walked either. And he tried to flip it on her, like, why you trying to make a scene? It ain't about making no scene. Don't talk slick when I walk away.
Yeah.
And then it turned into what it turned in. You know what I mean? You and Buffy the Negro Slayer got to get up out of here. And obviously, you just like the rest of them. It's whatever. I don't really dabble in the, shout out to my sisters. Like, I'm always with y'all. I'm always riding. Yeah. Once again, no shade to anybody who doesn't. That's just how I operate. So I've never really dabbled on that side of things. So the scene afterwards and the whole, like, you're just like them. I've never even gotten that deep to even have a combo like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, moral of the scene.
Chicken shit.
Get your ass out of here.
My next scene is the sisters at Jackson's mom's house. Just because I guess there is nothing like conversations with an older Black woman who has gone through it. Or has perspective. Well, just Black women in general have perspective, but can help navigate you through the waters of not just her son, but these young men in general. She watched them all grow up. So she has this is a different conversation than maybe just any old body off the street. You know what I'm saying? This is insight in perspective that most people do not have. I did think it was a little weird, even though mamas love me. And yes, we all grew up around him, but was that Terry's bridal shower, or was it just not Terry, BB's bridal shower, or what was like, why are y'all over here? That is what it was.
It was her. So it wasn't her bachelorette party, I don't think.
Her bridal.
I think it was just her bridal shower.
Yeah, that's weird. Go ahead.
She made BB made the line like, "Thank you for letting us host it. Terry's mother loved it."
Yeah.
And then Louise said, Fred is throwing Terry's bachelor party. I can't be outdone.
Yes. Yeah. So that was intriguing to me. But at the time, even though we knew that Denise was wrestling with telling Jackson about she and Fred's relationship, I thought it was odd that she felt like she and Jackson were going through it, because the reality is their relationship is still fairly new as well. So to me, it was early to be saying, help me deal with your son type shit. Even though he had said, I love you, but eaten the last chicken wing, you know what I'm saying? That was such a thing. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Eating the last piece of food.
Mm-hmm.
How big was this?
Back then?
Was this a huge. All right, so did this film introduce that?
To me, yes. I had never heard that shit before, ever.
And you used it
at 14.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Around the time of this film, you use that as a measuring stick of where things stood.
Yeah.
Which is listen, that's no different from me watching Bronx Tale and doing the door test on women.
Yeah.
You've seen Bronx Tale, you know what I mean? I used to drive a Saturn, a silver Saturn in Toledo. It had automatic locks, it had manual locks, so I could easily unlock the door, open the door, come around, and see if she leans over and open it and all that whole stuff. So I get it. Yeah. I just didn't know how prevalent it was before or after this movie.
I had never heard that prior to this movie. And so that was, once it came out, that was a big thing. Like, did he eat the last piece of whatever? But at 37, while it's not eating the last piece of food, for me, I would look at that as a symbol of somebody who is not selfish or somebody who shares. Because one thing I cannot do is a stingy man. Like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Because I was gonna say I'm not stingy, but that's a little bit of a lie. But for the most part, I am not stingy in love. And in partnership. And we talk, since the topic is essentially food, a thing for me, like, share. What, are you crazy? Why wouldn't you want me to have some of this? And so
Yeah.
I'm mindful of that. And uh there is somebody who is very giving, who is very sharing. Like, I'm feeding you specifically off of my fork, off of my spoon. Like, I actually want you to taste this before I even dig into it to let me know what you think. And so, having that experience, I kind of look at other people who I may or may not deal with, and it's like, "Uh, you ain't doing that. I'm
Yeah.
cool. I don't really like
Yeah.
how you moving. You ain't that hungry." Like,
Straight up.
so
Straight up.
I mean that's tricky, but I see kind of where they were going with that, even though I do not use eating the last wing or whatever as a barometer because I probably offered it to you anyways.
Yeah. No, and that's real. And it's really about that courtesy, like you said.
Yeah.
That's big for me. That's high on my list.
Hmm.
Um, being kind to people who are waiting on you. You go to a restaurant, say your pleases, your thank yous, just proper first grade manners.
Yeah. Yeah.
I realize that. And like you said, it's more so about, are you willing to share with me? Because it's a
Yes.
deeper meaning of, you're not just sharing this food with me, you're sharing your life and your experience with me. Like, you're
Absolutely.
involving me in your world.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I will say, not to get gender specific, but I would say, just from observation, women love, especially early on, like just
Hmm.
when you're courting a woman, they
Hmm.
love to be involved in your world. Everybody probably sees the memes of, or the Twitter threads of, um, why are y'all so excited to come? If we ask you to come, you want to go to the store with us. Why are y'all so excited? And
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of it. We just want to be, we want to see what you do when you're not with us. Like, we just want to kind of be a part of it.
Yep. And we talked about that during If Bill Street Could Talk,
Hmm.
where
Such a good movie, man. My goodness.
I can't think of her name right now, where she says, Bonnie has always been in my world. I've never seen him in his. And so she
Mm.
watching someone in their element, it's a treat. It's so different. I want
Yeah,
to see
man.
what you be
Shout
doing.
out to Tish.
Tish.
She said, I want to see what you be doing. You know, behaving, Bible study. Same old. You know,
Amen.
helping old women cross the street.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Saving cats from trees. You know, the same old, same old. This is my day, baby. This is my day.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Uh, my next scene is the bachelor party. I don't know if you
Same.
have anything before that.
Same. Go ahead.
14-year-old me is just looking at this and saying, my goodness, I can't wait till one of these niggas I know get married.
You ain't been.
Hopefully the bachelor party's live like this. Still ain't been to a bachelor party that looked like that, or best man's bachelor party, or none of that. But um, just the atmosphere. And remember back in the day, like, it was common, or at least we thought it was common, for people to have their bachelor parties like the day before the
Mhm.
wedding or the night before the wedding.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that? But this introduced obviously a theme of having it a couple weeks before.
Mhm.
Women all over the place. The ladies of the night disguised as strippers
Yeah. Yeah.
are all up in there. And you just have, for me, the scene between Brian and Terry is always funny because Brian knows his nigga.
Mhm.
Like, bro, you
Mhm.
do not want to do this, man. Like, I know you. So everything, it's a very heartfelt moment that Terry has with him. Like, damn, man, I hope there's more for you. And if it ain't, man, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
It all comes back to bite him because Brian was right at the end of the day. He knew, like, bro, I'm not, everything you saying right now is trash. I get you. You trying to be the good guy, but that ain't you, bro.
Mhm.
Like, that is not you. And Terry's reasoning when they're having that conversation, I just felt like it was time to grow up. It's a terrible reason to get married.
For sure.
Awful reason to get married. And obviously, it's no surprise that later down the line, we see that Terry's not ready to make that. But you get that. You get Derek being committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like, listen, man. I wasn't gonna sit here and judge Derek. I'm glad that he didn't do it.
Shout out to his
Um,
conscience.
shout out to his conscience for being like, you know what, like this ain't even. I ain't gonna. We've talked about this, Rachel, about being friends with who you're with, your partner, your wife in his situation. And there's a moment when you really have to sit down and be like, I ain't gonna do my nigga like that.
That part.
Like, I'm not gonna do my nigga like that. Like I don't care how mad I am or what I'm not getting. Like there's another way to get through this than paying this chick some bread so I can get it topped off. Like not on Fred's bed. Like nah, man, I ain't gonna do it like that.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Sure. And also the voicemail, of course, on that scene. The voicemail is a big part of that bachelor party.
Yes, it's so crazy. So my scene actually is Jackson confronting Denise immediately.
Yeah, that's my next scene. Yep.
Poor Denise, poor unsuspecting Denise. She thought her man was coming home. They could go to dinner, they could have a time. But see, this is Jackson's fault.
Why would you not tell her that you're going to a bachelor party at your pop's house?
That part.
Like, that's just odd to me.
Why? She's clearly a free, fun-loving girl. She knows that Terry is getting married, allegedly. A bachelor party is coming. Why does it matter? Why wouldn't you just be like, oh, yeah, it's at my dad's house, da-da-da-da-da.
Rachel, we see Sheila in the opening scenes ask, I'm sure Terry's going to have a bachelor party with a lot of naked women. And this nigga, Derek, says, yes, he is. Yep. Like, there's no hesitation. I don't understand why you couldn't tell him that I'm going to be at my dad for a bachelor party. And another thing about this, Rachel, we know that Jackson's not like a foul nigga.
Right.
So I could understand if he was out here sneaking and geeking.
Right.
All right, cool. You trying to hide your secrets and all that. Yeah, if he was Brian or whatever, but you're not even a bad dude. Like, you really sitting here conversing. There, you sitting on the steps drinking a brew, having probably deep conversation about the 16th century or some shit with these women. Like, you're not even trying to do all that. So I don't understand it. But go back to your point. That was always odd to me.
So yeah, it was his fault. Shouldn't have been omitting, but
well, maybe she shouldn't have been omitting.
Okay, she was trying to tell him on the couch.
Hey, hold on, Rachel. I'm not letting that slide.
What?
You can't sit there. All right. It's one thing if, all right, let's say Jackson does have a picture of Fred in his house. Denise peeps. All right, I need to figure out how to like bring this up.
Yeah. When
you do the face-to-face and I'm right there and I introduce her and y'all playing the oh nice to meet you game, knowing y'all met and dated, how long? All right, Rachel, how long does he have before he tells you like, yo, I went on a date with your mom?
The answer is that night at the house.
Okay, so how's this situation different?
But the reality is their relationship was still freshish. I don't know. I'm trying to see what it do because it might not even fucking matter.
Yeah, it might not be that deep to even bring this up.
And I have to build up. And you see, she tried to tell his mother, because I want to be upfront and I want you to know this, and I'm going to tell your son. Like, nothing happened. A nigga took me to dinner. Who cares? It's your daddy, so yeah, I'm gonna tell you. But
yeah, old school play. I know he hit. Stop playing with me.
But he did it.
That's their story. It's a second. The sequel is gonna find out that nigga was beating the walls out of Denise.
They did not engage. So she should have told him prior to this point. Absolutely. And I know that she was trying to, even though trying is an excuse for failure. Okay. But Jackson was calling, he was out of line.
He was definitely out of line. He was out of pocket.
You calling her all kind of hoes in so many words. I'm not going to say omission. I'm not going to say she was lying. But again, it is an omission. In the Catholic Church, the sin of omission is still a sin.
So Jackson's response is the exact reason what I meant earlier when you asked me 2 months in, could you go ahead and get proposed? I need one of those moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Jackson, for him to come in and tell her about herself because he's mad, completely out of line. And shout out to Denise for being so graceful and so mature in that situation. And doing the right thing, saving him from himself.
Yeah.
Like not budging, like you're not breaking up with me. I was gonna ask you if you've ever ignored a nigga that tried to break up with you, but then I realized what nigga has ever tried to break up with Ray P? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's never happened. So her just sitting there like, nah, bro, like let's get together.
No, they just moved back to Cleveland with their baby mama. But
yo.
No, we cool. We pieced it up. But
oh man, I know people are probably listening like, what's so funny, man? That's just real life shit. You gotta
real life shit. Yeah, I'll be a dead ass serious.
Yeah, when you know the background characters, the jokes hit a little different. Yo, that's hilarious. You funny as hell for that.
Yeah, bless that.
My goodness, what a time.
Yeah. I'm not even being funny, but I cannot think of a time where a nigga has been like, look, I don't want to do this, versus it just being some crazy ass shit like that happens. But I too be ghosting, so I don't know.
Guilty.
Yeah,
but I thought that was real fly, Denise. Like honestly, I think it was.
She was trying to fight for her man.
Yeah, it was mature. Like, listen, because she knew, and I can appreciate that. She knew that she should have said something.
Yeah.
If you want to put it in her shoes, or you put yourself in her shoes, if Jackson took the time to kind of be rational, but how easy are you going to tell if the roles are flipped? How easy would you tell her, like, hey, by the way,
yeah,
the mama you introduced me to that I acted like I just met for the first time, like I actually, we went on a date or two. It's not easy. And it could mess something up. Like sometimes you want to see, I think a lot of people have the mindset of let me like hook her in a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So where if she does say it, it's going to be hard for them to break up with me or whatever the case is.
So the alternative, if she would have been like, oh my God, hey friend, how are you? Oh my God, I didn't know that this was your son.
Yeah, nah, because we leaving ASAP. I gotta talk to you.
What do we do from there? You know what I'm saying? What's better?
Yeah, don't be too friendly in niggas' faces anyway. So for one.
But I know we dated. That's the homie.
Yeah.
Amicably. We ain't fucked. Like it's cool. You just a nigga that I know.
That she could have played it like that on some cool shit. Like, yeah, man, or I would have been like, yo, he sell you a car? Like, what's going on?
See, you asked too many questions.
Yeah, because you on first name basis and all. I gotta know. It's Pops, and I already don't fuck with him anyway.
Yeah.
So I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
That would crush me. That would crush me, man. But yeah, that's one of my. I like that scene. That's one of my favorites. And then my next scene is gonna be Jackson stopping by his mom's house. Maybe a couple days after that. I don't know if you have anything before it.
That after the basketball game, where everybody's admitting their problems in their relationship?
No, that's before.
Okay, go ahead.
That's before. So this might be my favorite scene in the movie.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been at 14. It wouldn't have been at 21. Probably wouldn't have been at 30. 37 is 100% my favorite scene because Jackson stops by his mom's house after the breakup with Denise. Just wanted to stop by. You could tell something was on his mind, but he didn't necessarily go over there seeking counsel.
Yeah.
It was more so I'm just trying to clear my mind and let's see what kind of game or knowledge my mom drops on me. Moms always give you the advice you need to hear.
For sure.
It's not necessarily, especially as a grown man, it's not like, hey, baby, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to tell you what you need. Like, that woman loves you. And I'm a walking example of what your life looks like when you leave all the things unsaid and you kind of You leave all your unresolved issues in the past. Like you will wake up one day and you're inviting people over every other night just to have people around. Like I'm an empty nester. No, me and your dad didn't work around, but we're comfortable. We understand each other.
Whew.
At some point, you know what it reminds me of, Rachel? And I think we made this, at least I know I've made this reference before on past episodes. Shout out to We Got Y'all. Rachel and myself covered Your Honor, season 2. And there's a scene where Jimmy Baxter is sitting with Carlo Baxter at the hotel bar. He gives this monologue about young people. You look at time as a privilege. You look at it as something that's just always going to be there. And I felt Louise when she was talking, because at one point in your life, even now, we look, we're still young, but we kind of look up, like, damn, like we sit here and tell stories about college days, and like, damn, how was that X amount of years ago? One day you look up and you're not necessarily young per se.
Yeah.
And you look at you have a chance to look at all your life, and you look at all your regrets and all the things that you could have done differently. And it's like, damn. And when you get a chance to kind of rectify that, when you get a chance to say, hey, I'm comfortable with this person, like he made some mistakes, but I made some mistakes too.
Yeah.
She made some mistakes, but I made some mistakes too. Looking you in your eyes, a mother and son, like that woman loves you. Please do not be the person that's 60 plus realizing, shout out to Martin. I know you quoted the show Martin earlier.
Yeah.
When Martin and Gina season 1 went through it, he had that poker game. Dude told him the story. He's like, what Martin's like, what's the moral? Like, old fools used to be young fools. So at some point you got to get it together and realize that this shit really that deep?
That part.
Like, you love that woman. Your sisters already said you showing public displays of affection, intimacy. You've never seen this out of you. You feel different. You've been having dreams and nightmares of a woman in a wedding dress holding a pistol up at you. Like, bro, go chase your girl. Stop being so prideful.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was able to have that conversation and use her real life as a clear example. Like, look at me right now. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
This ain't what life's supposed to be about. Yes, your dad's coming over. And nigga, like, yes, I don't even know what this is about.
Look, mama gotta have a life too.
Yeah, and then he even said, like, I want you to stop seeing daddy. Like, and do what? Like, and do what? What's the alternative at this point? And I'm not saying this is not an indicator to say settle. Or somebody treats you like shit, you keep going back because that's your only option.
Yeah.
But no, this is a good thing. Like, your father and I are comfortable. I can handle him leaving it out again. I can't handle if I don't give this a shot.
Yeah.
Another 10 years go by, and then I look back like, damn, I just wasted another 10. That time becomes less of a privilege. It becomes less of something that you feel like you have an unlimited amount of.
For sure. And we say it almost every episode, at least if We Got Y'all. Ain't nothing like somebody that gets you.
Baby, I get you.
Like, that matters. And just being comfortable, comfort is the death of whatever that quote is. I don't even remember it because I don't apply it to my life. But I
know mine is I always use the quote of a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
Yeah, sure. All of that. But sometimes you just want to be fucking comfortable. And it matters. Your relationship with somebody matters. And again, this is a 25-year marriage. That doesn't count however long they could have dated prior to that,
Yeah.
Man of a particular age with a particular swag. And Louise wasn't no slouch, you know what I'm saying? But
not at all.
It just is what it is. I think that growing pains, keep living. And I think for Jackson at 29, we can look at a conversation. You said it wouldn't have been your favorite scene at 14, at 24, at 30. You know what I'm saying? But keep living. Things change. Life happens. You experience some things. You see some stuff. And it's like, oh, well, okay. How you live. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So that's
because I've done enough. I'm sure you can say the same. We've done enough living to where it's not even always about I want that person back. It's more so about I see how my actions fucked that up.
Exactly.
I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. I want to take something from that. You just have more time to reflect on your mistakes.
For sure.
And it turns into that. So I love that scene. It's one of my favorites.
For sure.
What you got next, Rachel?
So my next scene is the brothers back out at the basketball court, shooting around, airing out their grievances with their partners and where their lives are. I know we talked, not we in particular, but there's a conversation to be had about men's conversations being surface level. Maybe not in every scenario or in every friend group, but it is a thing. So the fact that despite knowing that Terry does not want to share with Brian his second thoughts, essentially, but he does, and then this is where we get Brian reciting the poem that Terry wrote at 14. The fact that you still have it committed to memory is kind of crazy, but it goes to show the relationship that they had. You know what I'm saying? Even though Jackson,
I know you,
girlfriend, I know you. Yeah. So I just like that, and everybody being surprised, like, damn, she boned your daddy, even though they claim they didn't. Damn, you ain't getting no head. Like, everybody is going through it low key.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I know we referenced them earlier. Shout out to Mo and Spike, Another Week in the Books, elevated conversations amongst Black men. There is a vulnerability that is unlocked once the first person drops that first domino.
Yep.
And you saw it happen in this scene in real time. Like I missed something, so Terry missed it. What he's thinking about with BB, and then everybody else goes in a circle and kind of breaks out. Things they probably thought they'd never say.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep this one tucked to the vest. I think even Brian even said, "Hey man, you might want to keep that one to yourself. You gotta share everything." When he was talking about Derek not getting head, but it is a beautiful thing to let it out, to release. You can't heal what you don't reveal.
For sure.
And to do it with the people that know you the best and that you love the best. Like if I can't do it here, then I'm doomed.
For sure.
So to have that moment was absolutely great, and that came right after Terry went over Jackson's, drinking up all the liquor.
Yeah.
Talking about he left a voicemail. He doesn't want to get married. So yeah, that was perfect. And even to that point, Jackson picking up the phone, like, in a time like this, you need to be with your boys.
Yeah.
Good or bad, you just need to be with your boys. Let it out. Yeah. So absolutely, I do love that. Real quick scene for me, just a case of the ex. Them being at the club again, and has this happened to you, Rachel? Where you out somewhere and minding your business and you see somebody like, okay. Especially in Jackson's case, when I want to get back with you.
No.
And you got a whole nother nigga on your arm.
It hasn't. And I want, not in that capacity, but you trying to talk to me and there's another more pressing conversation I'm trying to have with somebody else. That has happened, but the way that Denise was so player about all of that shit, nah.
Denise was super player. I don't know. My memory, I don't think it's happened to me, but I always wonder how I would react if I was Brian. Like, am I playing it cool? Am I being like, am I dogging dude in front of him? Like, what am I going to do to that?
You might. You probably ain't. But
because the key point of this scene is Jackson really wants her back. He wants to have that conversation. I don't know. He kind of felt like, there's a code. There is a code. That's kind of like keep it player. I don't know if that code applies when love is in the picture. Like, all bets are off. So you're not just gonna have my girl out here with you. Like, and Denise is getting a kick out. She wanted nothing more than to say her best case scenario was, when we go to this club, I hope I see Jackson.
That part. But look though, was that really her nigga like that?
Of course not.
She probably met that nigga on the other side of the bar. That wasn't no thing. You know what I'm saying?
He knew it. He's not her type. He knew it.
I'm just giving you the satisfaction because I bore my soul to you and you shitted on me. Nah, eat that.
Who's this clown? He ain't Spalding.
Period. Oh, I tried to get you again.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I just like that scene, and obviously it didn't even whatever. Jesse, whatever her name was, whatever. They didn't even have nothing serious enough to even be an issue. I would have laughed at that. Like you can bring whoever you want to in the club. And that's a stark difference. When it's just a little, situation, it's just your turn, and that's one thing. But when it's actually like, nah, I want you, I need you, I might have seen you with somebody else. I don't care who it is. Like we ain't about to have that.
For sure.
That's one of my favorite scenes. The next scene and the last scene I have is the ending. I don't know if you have anything else before that.
You got Jackson's surprise party?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, I've got Jackson's surprise party where he and Fred pretty much get into it because, Jackson, he still don't want his daddy and mama back together.
Childish. He's childish. He needs to grow up.
Yeah, you got to grow up.
All this therapy, you talk about women, nigga, you need to talk about your daddy issues.
For sure. So there's that. And I like that scene for a couple of reasons. I liked it because we see essentially what Fred and Louise had. You know what I'm saying? We see two a mature relationship, what that looks like, the smoothness, the connection, the understanding, because we know and get each other, the playfulness of that. And we see them together. The only other time we've seen them interact is at Cherie's graduation party, and it was not great. You know what I'm saying? So, however many months, stay home, ignorant hole. So now, however many months later, we see them getting along and being playful and loving on each other. And Jackson cannot take it. Not just because he's wrestling with the fact that his parents divorced, but now I think you fuck my bitch, my woman, the woman that I love, even though Denise done told you she ain't mess with him, your mama done told you. Let it go, but he can't. You're still hung up on it. And I like seeing niggas get just like a little rough. So even Fred or Clifton Powell, once he got turn that daddy voice on him, because nigga, you still my child. You ain't that grown,
Yeah.
I'll put you together. I just really, really like that scene because it shows that for as much as Jackson has it together, he does not.
He doesn't. And for all and this doesn't have to be specific to men, women you can relate to well, but whether it's a man and your father, a woman and your mother, that moment as an adult where you just feel comfortable enough to tell them how you feel, and not in a way that's like a real conversation, but stay the fuck out of my life.
Yeah.
There's different levels and different versions of it. That's something deep. And shout out to Fred, because only a true love and a true bond snaps you back out of it.
Yeah.
Because Fred was about to turn up.
For sure.
And Louise comes over and said, dance with me. And he turned it on. He could have easily been mad and just, nah, man, I'm gonna dance with my woman. Once again, we missed out on a lot of time.
Yep.
I'm not gonna let you spoil this, especially when it's your issues that you got to resolve.
But that's credit to Denise too for peeping the scene and knowing to go over there and intervene. I can pull my man away. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Jackson. Okay, you're mad. But I can get my man. I know how to. It's very much, how on Twitter they be like, nah, babe. when your nigga is fighting, like, no. It was very much an adult version of that,
And one of the things that bothers me, I hate that nigga took that birthday candle, and crumpled it up in his hand. I don't know why. I get it. We know that you're mad, but I don't know why. That just always bothered me.
It's a grown tantrum.
Yeah, it's just a grown tantrum.
You said the ending. That's pretty much.
Yeah, just the overall ending. Just everybody.
Minutes. Yeah.
Everybody gets a happy ending. It doesn't come easy per se. Denise is still hesitant, but Jackson shows her that I'm really trying to be with you. We see Brian leave the white woman alone and go back and come on home.
And remember, everybody
would say. Yeah, man. We see Derek talking about something. I'm getting all the loving I can handle. Mm-hmm. Terry and BB are in a good spot. Obviously, still together, and even though they're not getting married. Fred and go ahead.
You propose and the wedding gets called off, or they decline your proposal. Are you staying together?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No. That's not. Yeah. We broke up once the wedding was called off.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Cookie. Go ahead.
I ain't going to nobody nothing.
Me and my wife.
My wife beefy, like straight up. Fred and Louise get married. Everybody's just good. And like I said, the fact that Jackson had to tie it all back, last plate of food or last piece of food, and early in the film it was mentioned that it was a subconscious thing, and he genuinely was like, "Oh, you ain't got no cake? Like here
you go."
Like and it goes to what you said, Rachel. It's not about the food. It's I want to make sure you're good. You have a need. Let me make sure I handle that for you.
That part.
And that goes a long way. And she even said it, best cake I ever had. And, just finally everybody being on the right page. Black joy. You got to love it. It's a perfect way to end the film. And I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for more.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for more. So, yeah. That was dope.
Shout out to the brothers.
Shout out to the brothers. Let's go through the rest of these topics before we get out of here. Best quotes. You got anything?
Yep, I got. What are you? What you AC Green now? Legendary virgin. I'm at the gun range twice a week, and I'm licensed to correct a nigga. Period. Love, happiness, and all that other shit. If I had a dick, would you suck it?
Wow, I remember when that dropped. Shit.
Yeah, for sure. Girl, you must have kryptonite in your possession. Shout out to Tatiana Ali. Men only need 3 things, and 2 of them are money. If she ain't black, she white. That whole diatribe that Brian's mother went on, I won't repeat all of it because it's problematic in 2024.
Absolutely.
But shout out to all the variations of white. I look in the mirror and consulted my damn self because period. I don't play woman. I quit school because of recess. I say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You need to reject your pussy. And then I say this all the time. That's a little too much me in you because miracles and blessings, and then $50 for almost doing something. You must be a Republican. Yeah.
Miracles and blessings, ladies. Miracles and blessings. I randomly say that. Random quick sidebar.
Yeah.
Reason 1067 why I'm pissed that they canceled Winning Time. We never got to dive into the AC Green character story, him being a legendary virgin, all of that. Side note. But you said a lot of the ones that I was going to say. I'll say the ones that you didn't. One that I say a lot. How long you know me, baby? I don't lie about my shit. When Terry was talking about at the beginning, I'm very strong believer of the do not kiss and tell category. Mm-hmm. Keep your shit low. You know what I'm saying? Keep it cool, keep it playing. But if I do say something, I'm not lying about it.
Yeah.
It's not your business. But if I happen to say it, trust me, I'm telling you the truth.
For sure.
Yeah, you trust it. Probably one of the most random things that I say. Ain't nobody say nothing about that. When Terry's at the bar at the beginning and he's trying to say like she make good money at the phone company. She fine as hell. Ain't nobody say nothing about that. And ever since the Kendrick song dropped, I've been nothing about that. I'm surprised you didn't say this quote. I wasn't sure until this very second, but my baby's still a virgin. And then another random ass Brian Bill Bellamy line at the basketball court at the end when everybody's getting heated at him. And they said, I'm just keeping it real. I can't speak my mind. I got something to say tonight.
Silly.
Just that I got something to say tonight is hilarious to me. Seeing Stealer. I think we probably both have the same person.
Jennifer Lewis?
Absolutely.
I feel like that's the easy answer and the first answer.
sometimes that's just what it is. The answer's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it is. If I got to start digging for it, then it's Jennifer Lewis.
Shout out to the mother of Black Hollywood.
The mother of Black Hollywood, absolutely. Things that bother you.
I didn't really write anything down for things that bother me. Yeah, I don't really have anything except for how crazy Jackson was acting. Like,
yeah, Jackson was wild.
Childish. That was irritating.
Yeah, I said one already. Jackson crumbling the candle for the 29th birthday cake. The biggest thing that bothered me in this entire film, the biggest thing that bothered me, hands down, no questions asked. D.L. Hughley playing basketball. Didn't fit, didn't look right, didn't seem believable. That nigga jumped on his free throw. when they're going through their issues, when he shoots his free throw, that nigga jumps.
He ain't with this show.
I know, but just somebody who still plays basketball, that shit just bothers me every time I watch it. Would you count anything in this movie as a come see about me moment?
No.
Yeah, he didn't really go see her. Like, he was still
reactionary. Your mom invited me to this wedding. Like, no.
Any actors from The Wire? No. Soundtrack? Had a decent soundtrack. It made an appearance on the top 100. Didn't break any records or anything like that. I mentioned the Eric Benet song that you hear over and over throughout the film. But this is back when soundtracks were still relevant, so shout out to them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let that happen to me. I'll just be the first one to say it. I've said it multiple times. Ain't no way I'm going without neck dinners. It's not happening.
I wrote it. Them about to get a divorce over some head is crazy. And I know that that's not the why, but the fact that it's such a significant part of the why is crazy.
A lack of head started bringing in a conversation about my mom's moving in. Mm-hmm. I never questioned why you wanted to get married. It started leading to all of that, which is wild. Yeah. Like, all right, cool. Shit, that's about it as far as wouldn't let that happen to me. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, I'm on Julie ass. Like, I'm on Julie. You're not about to throw me into no table and chairs at this black.
Every time I see you, what's up?
It's up.
And I'm a lawyer.
Offer assaulting an officer of the court. Stop playing.
Ooh, I just thought about that. Yeah, I'm thinking about you as the judge.
Come on.
Hey, first of all, you ain't getting flipped over the table like that. I just couldn't see that happening. But if somebody did get the upper hand on you, let's say it's a vandalism or some sort, the amount of time and effort that you would put into making sure that woman's life is miserable would be something I would pay money to watch.
Come on. Y'all know I'm vindictive. I'm praying about it.
I would pay money to watch it. Like,
yeah.
I'm a judge. You know how many connections I got? You know how many times you get pulled over a day?
Come on.
I'm giving every officer your license plate. Every time you leave a parking spot, you getting tickets. I'm being petty.
It's up.
Every single time. Nothing really there for trivia. There was no like story about who almost played what role. I know we did our own version of how we would cast the brothers, but no real trivia for the film. And with that being said, we get to the end of the film, where we get to rate this bad boy.
Yeah, buddy.
So Rachel, the average viewer rates this film a 6.3 out of 10. Too high, too low, just right.
Too low. 7 even.
Maybe. Too low. 7.2.
Okay.
Too low, 7.2. Definitely an enjoyable film. Rachel, I appreciate you as always.
As always.
This is a culturally relevant classic.
Absolutely.
As you can see by our runtime.
Bruh.
We try not to get too deep into it, but when you've had movies that you've just watched countless times, that you grew up with, that you experienced, and you are so relatable, we just talk. And I enjoyed the conversation as always.
Absolutely.
For everyone out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate you. Please check that link tree in the episode description for more content. Most importantly, the We Got Y'all feed. Please subscribe to that. Please share. Please like. Please rate.
Yes.
It's up and running. I'm Shy
active, y'all. So
yeah, follow the Instagram page. currently discussing season 2 of The Chi, or excuse me, season 2, the second half of season 6 of The Chi. House of Dragons is coming next month.
Ready. I'm ready. Y'all already know.
Targaryen.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra. So it's coming. We got a lot of good content coming for you. Creeping up on episode 100. Just a lot of content. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you. We're not gonna hold you any longer. We'll see y'all next week. Once again, check out We Got Y'all. Y'all be cool. Y'all be cool.
Peace out. Thanks for listening. Love y'all. Bye.
We out.